Hi, and welcome back to Rediscovering RC, my personal journey as I venture back into the world of RC and RC racing after an almost 20-year hiatus. I'm your host, Julio, and today I'm just going to come out and say it. I hate gluing tires. You know, it was something that I'd never really loved before in the hobby, and it's really something I'm not looking forward to. However, tire technology is a lot better. There's a lot more things on the market to help you with the tire gluing process. So, you know, it's something I got to learn, and in doing my research, I came across a couple of products that I thought were a little bit interesting. In particular, figured we take a look at the Raceform Lazer Jig here. It's designed to make gluing tires a bit easier for the average person. Now, Raceform is a company out of Singapore, I believe, that makes a pretty unique product as far as helping you, properly glue your tires. Now, I've already glued a set of tires myself, and I got to tell you, that wasn't really a pleasant experience. So I'm looking forward to using this product. While I was at it, I also picked up a couple of other products. They have here an adjustable, ride height gauge, basically laser cut out of acrylic. That gives you a 16 to 30 millimeter range of adjustment, so that's pretty cool. And since I was going to be gluing tires, I also went ahead and picked up some needles for both thin and medium compound CA glue. So I got a set here of J Concepts Sprinter tires to glue. I got my set of faster yellow wheels for my TLR 22 5.0 DC Elite, and some dirt bands to put it all together. So let's dig into it and take a look. Alrighty, so let's take a look at what's in the box first. We'll get into some of these other products later. But first off, out of the box, when you open it up, you are going to get a full instruction sheet, which is going to be pretty important. You may want to keep this around or take notes on this because it's going to be integral depending on the tires that you want to glue up. So let's keep that off to the side. You get a Raceform decal set, the jig itself, and you also get a couple of the, two of the thin, little glue needles included in the package. So this is the tire jig itself. Pretty neat little design. The integral part of their design is this little wheel roller, which is the one that's going to separate the lip from the wheel while you glue in the process. This slides out of the way so you can put the wheels on and off. And the most innovative feature of this is that you have a nut here that's going to be holding down the tire, but at the same time you get several plates here. So let's get these off. And you get, two of these are 5R. Wow, they're stuck together. Okay, two of these are 5R. You got a 3R, a 2R, and a 1.5R. So basically what this does, this allows you to set it up depending on the type of tire. Again, this is a 1/10 buggy jig, so you can do 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive buggies with this. Overall, you're doing 3 different widths. There is also a way, if you're using carpet front tires, this can be adjusted to bring down the roller a little bit just to specifically work on those thin 2-wheel fronts. So again, a pretty versatile jig. And pretty much the instructions, getting back to that, are going to tell you, depending on the type of wheel that you're going to glue up, it corresponds to the type of plates you're going to be using and how many. And really it's just going to also tell you, you have a little bit of adjustment there. You can swap one plate for another if you need a little bit more height to get that separation, or if you have too much separation, because what you don't want to do is pull the lip completely off of the rim either, and possibly get glue behind the the groove there for the rim. So that's pretty much all there is to the jig. I've got all these tires packaged along with the glue and the wheels, so give me some time to get set up. I do have to go clean the tires. I'm really not going to get into a tutorial. I mean, I'm a beginner myself. There are some great resources online as far as properly gluing tires. I've seen some of them, obviously, so I'm not going to go into detail there, but I am going to get all this ready to go, and then we'll get to the jig itself. So I'll be back in a few. All right, so I got a little bit of a head start here. Unfortunately, I had the pre-test and it didn't really come out quite how I expected. So as an example, I glued these first, and as you can see, I ended up with a little bit of the bead that stayed raised, and this is with medium glue. So that bead stayed up. This one was the first one, and actually a little bit worse. I got 2 areas where the bead stayed raised. That was with medium glue. I'm going to try here with the thin glue, see if it's any better. So really, for the rear tire, you really just want to use the 1.5R plate. as per the instructions, you want to roll this on and then get it started. So that will get you your opening here. So from here, it's just a matter of putting the tip in and then just gluing away as you go around here. You got to be pretty quick with it so that you don't end up with the same thing. And take this off. Give it a couple of turns, unless this was much better with the thin glue. So let's put the band on. Yeah, the medium glue, and I think part of it is the bottle too. They give you the tips. I decided to try the tips, and these tips don't quite work with the J Concepts medium bottle. Now the medium bottle is different from my thin bottle, and I think that was part of the problem. This tip fits a lot better on the thin bottle. So obviously this looks a lot better. So let me put this off to the side, and then let's do the other rear tire on the inside. Get this one started just after the hole here, and then we'll do the same. I mean, it's just a matter of sticking in the pin inside the bead. And squeezing while you turn. Get that off, and there we go. Band on this guy. So I will say for that one, I mean, I think it's a matter of just getting used to it. You know, but what I'm finding is it's a little awkward getting the needle in there just right, and then turning. But I'm kind of surprised that with the medium glue, which supposedly cures a little bit long, you know, it takes a little longer to cure, that I ended up with this situation. So kind of stinks, but it's not the end of the world. Let's move on to the other front tires. Okay, so for the front tires, we're going to keep the 1.5R, and the instructions call for you to use the two 2R plates, so we'll add those, and the two 5R plates, so we'll add those. And then we pop the front tire on, move the jig over, get it started, and there we go. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing. And whoops, looks like my tip got dried up. That's why I hate using thin glue. Okay. Looks like we're okay, so let's get started. Let's get the tip in here. Off. Yep. Ooh, saved it there. The bead had gone up a little bit on me. Let's get these bands on real quick. A little extra glue there. Let's clean that up. Alright, so now we got one, let's do the other here. Put this guy on. I'm going to line myself up with the TLR logo so I know where I'm at. Get the needle in there and let's go. Oh, had a little accident there, get it off. Ooh. Let's get the band on there real quick. Yeah, if anything, I think this video is going to be a video on how not to glue your tires. Alright, so I'm going to finish up these fronts and then I'll be back for my final thoughts. Alright, so what do I think of the Raceform Lazer Jig? I'm going to be honest with this one, guys. As much as I want to, I don't know that I can really blame the jig for the issues that I have. Number one, I kind of have to call out J Concepts on this because my original gluing experience was with their thin glue, and I had issues with that with the very first set of tires that I glued. It just, like I said, it was curing before the bead would even come back down into the slot. So my tires were a little messed up there. So I said, okay, let me get the medium glue, and I'll have a little bit of more cure time to adjust the tire and get it in. But these bottles are different, and unfortunately, these needles, which are made for medium glues, I mean, the needle doesn't. This tip is so thick, the needle, the needle cover doesn't even come down on this. So I wasn't able to use that. I had to use the medium or the thin glue for the other tires. These last two tires that I did, honestly, came out great. I had no problems. So the jig does what it's what's advertised to do. As you can see here, these are fine. These are the first two that I did. So as I showed in the last segment, you see the bead is raised here a little bit on this side. The inside's okay here. Inside's okay on this side as well. I ended up with a pretty significant, I mean, that's like 10 millimeters there where the bead just didn't go in and I wasn't able to adjust it in time. So like I said, mixed bag. I think it's more if you can get a good bottle where these tips will work fine for you. The other thing is, being primarily left-handed, I think it might have been easier for me if I had turned the jig around and rotated this way. I think it would have been a little bit more comfortable. But a lot of the the demos, they show it this way. So again, that's something I think it's a matter of getting comfortable with the jig. You might want to play around with it a little bit before you glue a good set of tires. So again, can't fault the jig. I think it does as advertised. It's just a matter of being comfortable with the glue and the setup that you're using as far as your comfort level with your glue and getting just used to the procedure. I know that Raceform has some videos online in their YouTube channel on how to use this and how to use the different plates for the various types. As I mentioned before, this is the 1/10 buggy jig. They have a jig for short course trucks. They have a jig for 8th scale buggies. They have a jig for 8th scale truggies. And there is one other that is a combination that's supposed to be some kind of limited edition or for a limited time, which is a combination 8th buggy and short course truck. So that's something, if you run those two classes and you're looking to save a little money, that might benefit you. Now, as far as cost, I mean, these things aren't that cheap. I believe this is in the neighborhood of $70 to $80 for each one. They do sell bundles as well if you buy it directly from them. They are also available from A-Main Hobbies from what I saw. So if you have a local hobby shop that deals with A-Main as a distributor, you can certainly get them from them. But you can order from Raceform directly as well. That's it. Like I said, I'm no expert in tire gluing. I hate it. To be honest, after this experience, I don't know that I'm going to hate it any less. However, again, with each set of tires that I glue, I'll be learning a little bit more. I got to give mad props to this. Basically, this is a belt hole puncher, a leather puncher. I'm using this, bought this online at Amazon. Brand name is General. I'm using the second smallest hole of the available holes. Very important. Obviously, you want to clean your tires and your rims before you do any gluing. I happen to be using basically a kitchen cleaner and degreaser. That's biodegradable. Very good around the house, and I've used it for my previous set of tires. Works great. And these you can also get from Amazon. This is basically just one of these, like for nail polish or whatever. You can set your mixer here. You take your rag, push down on it. It's got a lock, so you turn it, and basically that's all that you do for that. So that's pretty much all I have to say. Until next time, I'm your host Julio, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Hi all, Julio here in editing, and I just wanted to share a follow-up experience that I had with the Raceform Lazer Jig after the production of this video. So basically, I had an extra set of Proline hole shots for my 22x4 buggy that I wanted to go ahead and glue, and really to give the jig another try. And I learned a couple of things that I thought I would share with everyone in this video. So the first thing, which you kind of saw in the video, is that it's really important to just rest the side of your hand on the jig itself with the glue bottle while you're gluing. It adds additional stability, aside from the fact that it already has rubber feet on the bottom. So, I mean, it's going to stick to the surface. You just need that little bit of extra pressure on there. So the other thing that I think was most critical was to adopt a squeeze, move technique. Now, in the original video, what I was doing was providing a slight but steady stream of glue as I was going around the wheel. And I think that kind of contributed to some puddles in the wheel, which in turn led to, the raised beads on, on the wheel as it was going around. So I think that proved to be very huge. But of course, it came at the cost of a set of front tires. But, well, you live and you learn. So also as an added measure, it allowed me to just run another thin little bead of glue between the tire and the wheel, as I put the band on it. And that was just allow it to seep in there and just get any additional coverage that I might have missed during the original glue cycle. So I think these things were really key. And in summary, for me, again, the thin glue worked well for me. But I would be willing to try medium glue if I can find a bottle with that, that I can use that medium tip on. It was unfortunate the J Concept bottle, for whatever reason, is a little bit different from the thin bottle. But again, if I can find a bottle where those tips will work, I'd be willing to give that a try to see how the experience fares with medium glue. And the other thing is, I was, as you can see in the pictures here, I was able to do the rears with no problem, as well as the the inside lip of the fronts after I realized that possible issue that I had. My instincts were true. I had no problems with the rears. They came out perfect, and I expect that moving forward, I'll probably have perfect tires from here on in. So, will it make me like gluing tires more? I don't know, but at least in moving forward, I think the experience will be a little easier. So anyways, I wanted to share that as part of this video. It makes my experience even more positive with the Raceform Lazer Jig. So anyways, I'm your host Julio, and until next time, take care.